Hey everybody, TBC here. We're kind of midway through Luclin now, so it's about time I have a look at the old tier list that I have for classes. It's the perfect time for you guys to drag me through in the comments and let me know how wrong I am and how druids are the best class ever. Before we get into it, I just want to give a huge shout out to our channel members for going the extra mile and continuing to support the channel. Thank you so much. It is very much appreciated. Anyone that's interested in becoming a member, the button is down below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and to get that update when I make a new video, hit that subscribe as well. It really does make a difference. So with that said, let's get right on into it. Alrighty, here is our tier list. Now, a few things before we start. It's not really like a hard and fast like top DPS of what I'm looking at. I'm kind of looking at how much fun they are to play, some of the pros, some of the cons, and yeah, maybe a little bit of how much damage they do. Now I'm doing this more from kind of like a raid perspective as well. So a few things to think about. Again, this is my own opinion, yours may differ, and if it does, let me know down in the comments below and your constructive reasons as to why. Now, last time we looked at this Velius, we didn't have AAs, we didn't have the ability to use focus effects, which do make a lot of difference. And I really think Luclins, when classes start really getting into their stride, like when the devs kind of realize more so what the game is, what people enjoy, and how to build these classes out, with the exception being the Beast Lord, and maybe we'll talk a little bit as to why. But of course, we will start with the tanks first and foremost. Now, last time Warrior, I had Warrior in the A rank. What's new for Warrior? I play a Warrior, not a whole lot. In terms of the AAs, nothing really exciting. In terms of any clickies, we've got pretty much exactly the same. Area taunt, which is fantastic skill. I don't think that we get really more fun to play until Planes of Power. You get a few more of those nice AAs, and the ability to not get stunned finally, unless you're playing an ogre. You're still the main raid tank. You're still doing all of that. You're still pretty good fun. Most of the fights in Luclin are fairly good fights to be the main tank, and yeah, still one of the main go-tos for all tanking needs. So yeah, I'm happy leaving Warrior, I think, right there. In fact, no. So what I do think with Warrior now, though, like I said, it's just more of the same. Nothing really new. So yeah, I think for Luclin, I think B. Shadow Knights. Shadow Knights are kind of an interesting one, this expansion, to be honest, because you start so strong on a TLP in Classic. You're one of the main tanks on raids because you hold aggro way better than Warriors do because of the spells and things like that. And not really a whole lot of new for Shadow Knights in Luclin. Mostly stuff to buff up hate and increase hate generation, and things like that is in terms of your spells. I like Shadow Knights. I've played a Shadow Knight before, but again, funny situation. I don't think they are necessarily where they were in like those early times. I saw, for me, Shadow Knight is still a B. Definitely still a B. Paladins. Last time out in Velius had a solid kind of C, and I can't tell you what's really new about Paladin, except we do have some nice new functionality. You can get the DA hammer from Grieg's End, which makes you the perfect rank tank on a lot of these fights in Luclin, and a lot of them ramp. So, but that's kind of what a paladin is about this expansion in my book. You're not the best tank in raids, certainly not. In groups, Shadow Knights are still typically better. Yeah, I'm happy leaving, I think, paladins in C rank. Not much new for the tanks, really. To be honest, maybe warriors dip down in terms of like the fun to play and like the little tools, because there really isn't a lot. So yeah, I'm happy with where we're at there for the tanks. Still very much needed in every group and in every raid. I really enjoy playing warrior, to be honest, or SK. I enjoy both of those. But yeah, that's where we're at. Next, we'll look at the healers, the clerics. I have a cleric, and honestly, when I'm in a group situation, whether that's boxing or in groups, I could leave a macro going, just clicking its pants, and that is enough for 90% of the time. Buffs last longer. You can MGB, Ego and things now, and they last like 4 hours, so you're not constantly reapplying it. There's less dispelling going on now with mobs, so you're not constantly having to go around and rebuffing everyone. And you're still the number one healer. It is a lot of fun when you can do crit heals and things now. So I enjoy playing cleric, but yeah, they can be very easily boxed now. Again, still, and clicky pants are still really good, but yeah, still S tier for me. Druid. Oh dear. Still that kind of master of none, often overlooked kind of class. Doesn't really stand out to me all that much. I mean, Luclin, your ports aren't as great because we start getting the ability to travel in the world faster, and in Planes of Power that's completely out the window. Most guilds maybe have 1 or 2 druids. Spot healing, thank you. Yeah, I like the spot heals. Maybe a few people want your protection of the cabbage and things like that, but I still struggle with druid, and they're still D for me. Shaman are a bit of an interest on. Your dotting is still fantastic. Your buffs and your debuffs are still top dollar. You still got good heals. Things like Avatar, but now with like things like Feral Avatar, which is really, really good, which you get that ancient spell. It's really good. Again, there's nothing really like stand out new, nothing extra that you're doing, more of the same. Still a very, very fun class to play. Last time out, where did I have them last time out? I had them in an A, and I'm happy to leave them there. I think it's not a class I really enjoy playing very often, but comes Planes of Power when slow becomes absolutely vital. I think you'll see a lot more Shamans about. Look at that, we got quite a nice even spread right now. Melee DPS. Monks, top dog usually, or one of the top on DPS. Still out there pulling for the most part, although you're starting to lose a little bit of that. I've seen Paladins pull some things, seen Bards start doing a lot more pulling. So for me with monks, you're still a top dog class to play, still an easy class to play as well. If you get to be a camp monk, you're going to be chunking out tons of DPS. Your abilities are pretty fun to do as well, and they're very easy to play these days and very easy to box, and that only gets better, to be honest, for having box monks. So for me, monks right now still an S class. So with rangers now, endless quiver, that's good, so you can be doing more bow, and there's a lot more opportunities to do that as well in Luclin. You are good in groups now with like those kind of headshot abilities. Easy AFK damage, really. Set auto fire and go do something else. Go alt tab to Netflix on raids and some of those long fights. You can often damage from outside AoEs as well, so you're constant, you're persistent damage, which is really, really good. Weapon shield is still useful as well, and it continues to be so. I'm actually really enjoying where Rangers are now compared to where they were, say, at the end of Velius. And in Velius, I had them all the way down in D. I was like, oh, Rangers, man. But now I'm more keen to put you a little bit higher. I mean, yeah, Rangers B. Rogues. What is to say about Rogue? You stab still, and you stab still, and you stab. And I don't think they've really changed all that much in Luclin. You get a lot more stuff comes in planes of power. I think the stealth, the shout, is planes of power, and you often one of the benefits of playing rogue is there's very few people out there to compete for on mobs for looting raids, because there's not many of them. But good DPS, and I'd say in Luclin they're a little bit easier to play because the mobs aren't turning around often as much. They're often more so like some of them in like Vexval are rooted, so they can't, so they're super easy. And actually in Valius, those dragons are turning around all the time when they're summoning and casting and whatnot, so it can be a little bit frustrating to play. You don't have that in Luclin anywhere near as much. So I had rogues in kind of B last time, and I don't think there's anything really new for them in B, but I don't see them passing often quite as high nowadays. And I think overall, when you look at the classes, it's either like a B or a C right now for rogues. I'm gonna say, I wouldn't say they necessarily dropped, but I think in kind of comparison with like some of the others, maybe a little bit. So Beast Lords, yeah, obviously Ferocity and Paragon is kind of number one bring to raids, certainly earning on, but they're more than just say just casting those spells. They're very versatile class. They can do a lot, and they're a pet class. They can DPS. So they're not just there to cast Paragon and Ferocity, although that is a lot of what they do. And as ever, I think they do suffer a little bit from not quite knowing the full role maybe straight away. And of course, the DPS isn't as strong as say a monk or a rogue. But they're versatile class. They bring a lot. They're great fun to play, and I think for that reason I will put the Beast Lord also in B right now. Moving over to Bard, probably one of the most boxed classes there are right now. They're gonna be very important components of power, because with Fade, that's such a strong tool for pulling. It becomes your main pullers really for any raid. They're not really there for still to bring the damage. Yes, a lot of them do end up being boxed, and I had Bards still in B, and I think next expansion will probably see movement, but again, overall for me, Bards are still B. Alrighty, over to the casters. So I had enchanters in B last time, and they're still very solid. Now, don't get me mistaken, they're still very solid. Diacharm is great if you're in one of the zones where there's mobs you can use it in. You know, you can go to the bathroom and not be worried that you're going to come back dead. It's great for when I'm boxing in one of those zones. Say in Aquila, I can just get a Diacharm pet. Yeah, it's not going to be as strong as a 52 or 54 level pet, but it gets the job done, kind of a thing. And that's what I sometimes like if I'm boxing an enchanter. I can Diacharm and not have to worry about the consequences or the fallout from that, or it breaking, which is great. But they are losing power, so to speak, as other classes are kind of catching up. That charm isn't so isn't as strong. You know, it is still super powerful, and it will still be, and you'll still see people in running around with charm pets, and you will in planes of power. Do not get me wrong, but on raids, you're not really charming. You are mezzing, you are buffing, you are debuffing. So overall, I still think there's still been a dip in power with Enchanter. Focused on a raid, every group still wants one, every group still needs one. Your KEI is a must-have, really. But overall, in that kind of to play experience in the raiding environment, a little bit of a drop there. Magicians have been great all the way along. You know, the pets, the epic pet is good. No new pets really, no new pets at all in Luclin. You're still using the same pets you were using, you know, months ago, and it's starting to really show that those pets cannot keep up with a lot more of the damage that these newer ones can put out. Yes, your nukes are great, and you're chucking out nukes left, right, and center. They're not as strong as the wizards, but you can still kind of crit on them. And pet hold is a necessity. If you don't have pet hold as a mage, you're not using your pet. And mod rods can't look past being a mod rod box. But again, magicians definite again downturn in power overall for me, and I think that's a kind of a trend that's going to continue for a little while now. But are they D overall to play, or are they a C? So last time out I had them in C. I can't rate them any higher than that still, but I don't think they're quite D for me. I want to go with C. I have a lot of stuff in B and C. Now, a Necro, still the same kind of issues that you have. Lack of a fast damage really for those kind of grouping situations, and that really doesn't get any better. Be great still on raid bosses. You're still going to be chucking out some DPS, especially while the raid bosses still have that kind of high HP pool, relatively low damage. Obviously that changes as those they make the raid bosses slightly different, not just tank and spanks. So I had Necros. Where did I have them last time? I had Necros in A tier last time, and on raid bosses, you know, you can be mind racking. So that's a lot. Still versatile. I just can't. I don't know. I always think of Luclin as the maybe start of the downturn in the power of the Necro. Still good though on raids. So again, I'm gonna go with B. Kind of the same issues as Mage, but a lot more versatility. Thank you, Mindrack. And that leaves me down with one class, the Wizard. I really like the Wizard in Luclin. I have a Wizard in Luclin, and he's finally a little bit fun to play. The reigns are awesome. The nukes hit hard, and when you crit, holy, you can take 75% of a mob's health off in one. They're a lot of fun. I have to say, some of the most fun I've had on a character in Luclin has been on my Wizard. And now with mounts and some of the buffs that you get, and KEI and mana regen, that mana bar is a lot easier to fill, which means you're going to be doing more damage. And Wizards are passing really well now because of all those things. Yeah, when you do those big nukes with the big crits, I always look at those numbers. I had Wizards in D tier last time, but honestly I think Luclin is such a huge boost to them, and I think that trend kind of carries on right now. I'm enjoying a Wizard. And mana burn is kind of like big. They're a lot of fun. If you haven't tried a Wizard in Luclin, I'd certainly say give one a go. Guilds more so rely on them. Now in the long run, yes, melee is better, but I really like wizards in Luclin. So there you have it. That's my tier maker. Sorry, I've been under the weather this last few days, so it was a bit of a slog to try and get through. Let me know down in the comments below whether you agree. Am I totally out of whack, or do you have any suggestions, or is there something I've overlooked about your favorite class? Like I said, this again is only my opinion, kind of based on how I like to play and what I've seen on the raids during Luclin that I've been on Oakwynd. Now, Oakwynd is still bobbing along. We've been promised that a fix is finally coming for the Legacy AA. I am hoping that they put that in before the holiday week. I think that would be something that they should do for the community at the very least, given that it's been broke since the start of Luclin. And yeah, they've been busy on the expansion, but that's out the door now, and we've been promised that there is a highly motivated dev looking at it. Now, in terms of the dupe, that I think the effects are still rippling on. We've heard nothing else apart from, well, what I said last time. I think that was them trying to draw a line under it and leave it at that, and I still don't agree with what they put out. I don't think that's an accurate reflection of what actually happened on Oakwynd, but we're still going well, we're still doing well. The guild is still going as well. Link for that Discord is down below if you're a Pacific or Raider or late night Raider and want to play with us on Oakwynd. Plenty more videos to come as we draw in towards the holidays and Planes of Power, so keep an eye out for them. As ever, I'm the Brick Knock, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.